Well. We know the rare land cycle from Commander Legends, and we know it's not Fetchlands. It's the Battle Bond cycle, so I'm going to talk about it, because I need to buy a new Porsche. Not really, these videos give me almost fucking no money, so the idea that I'm doing this for money is fucking absurd. The rare land cycle from Commander Legends is the completion of the Battle Bond cycle. The enemy ones, and honestly, that's pretty fucking cool. I think that's excellent. I love this land cycle, and I think it's great that they're completing it. I guess better late than never, since people have been asking for these since Battle Bond released. Cool, I'm on board. However, this means that Fetchlands are not in Commander Legends. So it begs the question, where the fuck are the Fetchlands? Now, before I continue, I guess I should say that there's a small chance there's two rare land cycles in this set, and one of them's the Fetchlands. But that means Wizards of the Coast are slow rolling us. Maybe perhaps I'd love to think they're doing it so I make this video that they can prove me wrong. And you know what? I would love it. I'd love it if tomorrow they're like, by the way, they're also in the set. And I'm like, you know what? Mwah, you got me. And I fucking love it. But that's not going to happen. So let's talk about where they might be. So this is Where the Fubble Are the Fetchlands, also known as a look ahead to a future where you aren't allowed to play Legacy or Modern, or this format just isn't for you, or what's the matter, do you not have any fucking money? So let's just address a few things off the bat for people who are new to this discussion, or have been angry at me on Twitter. Let's address a few bits. Firstly, a few people are asking why I and others want these Fetchlands reprinted and why it's a common, regular, ongoing talking point. It's for the health of formats that we enjoy and love, like Modern and Legacy. Whilst those formats are often lying on their side, whilst Wizards of the Coast kicks them in the tits with cards like Hogak, Astrolabe or Oko, it doesn't mean that sometimes these formats aren't highly enjoyable, varied experiences with older cards that we love being used and decks that we have cradled and nurtured like a loving parent. The problem is, these formats not being supported, it will kill them, or at least it'll make them into this wheezing and coughing and spluttering corpse, a shambling corpse, held aloft by nothing but the sheer force of community goodwill. Support for these formats comes in a few ways. One is obviously events and new sets injecting cards into those old formats and that sort of thing, but the main one is reprints, to give accessibility to people who aren't in the format already. I guess the cultivation and the meticulous crafting of a banned list to make the formats fun is also a way to support the format. Probably shouldn't skip that one out either. Wrote it in my script, forgot to say it out loud. Here it is, enjoy that. Anyway, back to my actual point is that without reprints, these formats become like an old boys club. Or they're just there for people who are rich or got into the format many, many moons ago. Or people who are very, very patient and save up very well. Or people who got a windfall. You get the drift. It's not for your average Magic player trying to get into those formats from the standards and the historics and coming from Arena and playing Commander. They're never going to get into those 60 card formats because they're just inaccessible because of cost. These Fetchlands are the building blocks. They're the key part of the game. They're almost at the board upon which you play the game of chess. So that's why fetches, and other stables too, but fetches more so than the others, are so important. They are rare lands, and rare lands have been a marketing ploy. Since the time immemorial, or since the beginning of Magic itself, Wizards have been aware that rare lands will sell packs. Originally, people were like bidding off dual lands, supposedly, tearing them up using as drink coasters and all that sort of shit because they weren't a Shivering Dragon, or whatever the hot new thing was in Revised. Was there new things in Revised? Whatever the cool toys were in Alpha, Beta, Revised, and Unlimited. But as time went on, people realised that being able to cast your spells is cool, and that dual lands and cards that fixed your mana or made your mana consistent were really good. And that's when rare lands became sought after. And that's been the way it's been since the beginning. Since that time to now, rare lands are exciting because they allow you to play the spells and the decks that you want to play. New players often miss this, so if you're a new player, welcome. Keep your rare lands. Don't let people card shark you and shaft you or trade them for crappy cards pretending that lands aren't worth anything, because lands tend to be worth quite a bit. Lands are important. So this is a problem, I guess, in some ways, because this is what has led to things like Fetchlands, dual lands, even shock lands being quite dumb in terms of cost, especially when they're so fundamentally important to playing these formats. But that's the world we live in, and we can deal with that world we're living in through responsible, or reasonable, should I say, reprints. But scarce, highly desirable, and expensive lands sell packs. If you haven't noticed, Wizards of the Coast like to sell packs. Personally, I think they can probably sell more packs if they put these fucking lands in them. But in short, what I'm trying to say is reprint Fetchlands, you cowards. The next thing to address, I've seen people say that the Battleborn lands make more sense here, and that is right. I agree. That doesn't change the fact that Wizards of the Coast have consistently fucked up the reprinting of Fetchlands ongoing for years, and this was the last good place we could have them. The Battleborn lands are fucking sick, and it's a shame that their inclusion in this set is being dampened by the fact that Wizards of the Coast have really struggled to reprint the Fetchlands for some strange reason. So with all that said, let's talk about where the reprints of the Fetchlands could be. We know they're coming. We've been told they're coming. In the original introduction article for the laughably shitty Secret Lair Ultimate Edition, that was the Secret Lair with just 5 Zendikar fetches for those not paying attention, which was $400 to buy. We were told this. Speaking of old favourites, this isn't the last time you'll see Fetchlands this year either. While they will be not entering Standard in 2020, let's put that rumour to rest right now, having these in abundance still isn't a play pattern we want in Standard, there will be another way to pick up some stylised versions of Fetchlands later this year that will also be available in your local game store. Many people missed this announcement, and many people miss small factoids or snippets like this in other announcements, because let's be real, there's so much information coming at us from product releases to announcements to spoilers and stuff that it's hard to keep up even when you make content about Magic every single day, so I don't blame you for missing this. So I constantly see in comment sections and on Twitter people saying that they believe the core set of Zendikar will just have fetches in it, even though Wizards of the Coast have quite directly and explicitly put that rumour to bed. So to clarify, Zendikar Rising cannot and will not have fetches in it that would enter through Standard. Because whilst Wizards of the Coast continues to push digital Magic and playing on Arena, the idea of having fetchable lands or fetch lands with fetchable lands in Standard terrifies them, for reasons that I've talked about before and still think is a huge load of complete and utter bollocks. I spoke about it, I think it was in this video. I could go back and check if it was that one. I'm just going to link to that one anyway. Go watch it. Yeah. So with that said, where could they possibly appear? I'm going to go through some options, and then I'm going to per option say whether it's likely or unlikely, or actually impossible, and give some reasons why, like an educated guess kind of thing, which will lead to a prediction. A prediction of sorts. It's going to be a bit of a vague prediction, but either way, I can then lord about it on social media when I get it right. Option 1, another secret lair. I'm going to rule this out at the moment, simply because of the line about, will also be in your local game store. Now, whilst they gave out some secret lairs to sell in stores, it's not normally what happens. Secret lair is a mail order, made to order, printed and then delayed for a very fucking long time and not delivered on time to order product directly from Wizards of the Coast. So I think we can rule out that when they explicitly said it's coming to your game store, that's not going to be a secret lair. Option 2, another set, maybe a secret one, appearing later in the year, similar to Mystery Booster or similar. The reason people were hyped to see Fetchlands in Commander Legends, to give a bit of context that I might have missed here, is that because we know they're not coming in Zendikar Rising, Commander Legends was the last set that we know about that was not going to be a premium cost. It's slightly dearer than normal sets because there's 20 cards per booster, but it's not going to be like, the cost of a Masters set, which means A, it's a Commander set and people will draft the shit out of it given the opportunity, although we're in a global pandemic, so that might be a problem. But B, if it's affordable, it means it's drafted heavily, opened heavily, cracked heavily, boxes bought and opened on YouTube and such, and we get a lot of them going into circulation, and therefore it should drive the price down. Not bottom it out, no one's expecting that, but bring the price of these things down so people can build their first modern deck, or try and build their first legacy deck without some jewels, for example. When Commander Legends didn't have that, and we know that Zendikar Rising's also not going to have that, it means we're stuck, not knowing where they could be that would be a reasonable reprint that would bring the price down in a meaningful way. So, what if we get, later in the year, a surprise, here's another set, like, not the summer set, because we're in the summer right now, but the winter Christmas holiday period. Maybe we will get, I don't know, Modern Horizons 2 would be quite a likely one, although that would be premium priced, that'd be a bit of a shitter. Another Masters set is not off the cards, but again, premium priced. Or how about Conspiracy 3, Battleborn 2, something along those lines that could be a non-premium priced set that could have Fetchlands in it. That'd be great. However, they said in that announcement, in the quote that I read out, and I'll quote again, stylized versions. This means they probably won't just be normal cards in a booster. It means they're going to have to be, well, stylized. Extended frames, edged foils that we're seeing in the new Commander Legends, something like that. So that means they're probably not in a set as such. And I completely understand that you might be thinking, I'm reading too much into Wizards of the Coast language here. I might be like reading the tea leaves, scrying the bones, listening for whispers on the wind. But I think, except for when their products are so confusing that their own copywriters can't get things right, like with Double Masters, I think on the whole Wizards of the Coast are very particular with their language. The people that work there and write these articles are very smart individuals, and I like to play little games and riddles and hide hints that they can reference later on down the line. I'm not mocking that. I quite like it. I quite like that they're super into like little tidbits and deep cuts and throwbacks and referencing things that will hopefully reveal later down the line. I like that. So I think the language they use is particular for a reason. So, stylized versions brings me to option 3. Wizards of the Coast are super into their booster fun thing at the moment, where they're trying to release, I don't know, extended art, etched foils, felch foils, jelly foils, sea dog foils, all these different versions of foils. And as much as I make silly names up like I just did, I actually think the etched foils from the Commander Legends look fucking great. And a lot of the treatments we see in the collector boosters, whilst I don't agree with the cost of them and think it's a bit dumb, they do look quite nice. So, whilst doing this, they're probably going to look to do that with the Fetchlands, because stylized alternate foils, alternate frames, alternate art Fetchlands, they will sell. They will sell sets. They will sell by the fucking bucket. So this brings me to option 3, the stylized extra slots in non-draft boosters, as they call them, non-normal set boosters. So, my option 3 is, well, I'm going to say with Zendikar here, it could be that we see a VIP product for, I don't know, Modern Horizons 2 later in the year and it has the fetches in it and stuff, and that'd be awful, that's a possibility, but Zendikar is the Lands Matters set. It's where landfall is. It's where the lands themselves shift and change under the thrum and the power of the ley lines on the plane from a thematic and flavour perspective. It's where the Fetchlands were reprinted to because of this, that the lands can shift and change at the mercy of the elementals and the powers that be on Zendikar. So, that's why we originally had, well, we had Hidden Treasures originally as the promo thing, where you could open the first print one of Zendikar. We had fancy random old treasures because people were delving into the ancient world to go on adventures. And then the second set, those adventures were expeditions, which were loads of cool foil, golden ticket lands you can get in Battle for Zendikar and that block. Cool. So lands matters, fancy foils. So I think there's going to be something like that in Zendikar. Now, I don't think it's going to be expeditions, because expeditions are too close to gambling. I think we'll never see expeditions come back. They're too explicitly a 1 in 38 chance, or whatever the hell it was. It wasn't that high, was it? It was low enough. 1 in 120? I don't know. It's too much like extra gambling, and I think Wizards of the Coast probably have to at least be aware, or at least mildly concerned, about the loot box criticisms that come levelled at them, and that gaming companies will be under scrutiny for moving forward throughout Europe and America and stuff as the government start to take note. So, instead of gambling as a 1 in 120 chance, where else could these stylized slots be? Well, there's literally 3 options. The first is set boosters, these things that are coming out with less cards so you can't draft them, but they've got loads of like fancy extra bits in them, like a middle ground between draft and collector boosters, married the whole thing on them. Honestly, they're confusing as fuck. There's a load of like diagrams showing you which slot does what. I don't fucking know. I think this would be pretty cool to open, and I wish they were draftable too as a little way to upgrade your drafts. I don't hate set boosters, I just think they're a confusing product. So maybe they're in one of those slots. I know there's a list of old cards that can randomly be in these boosters, and I believe they explicitly said that Fetchlands will not be on the list. Cool, but there could be another slot that in there. But that makes it unlikely. Option 3 of... This is like subclause... Option 3, subclause A, was the set boosters. Subclause B is going to be collector boosters. Now, collector boosters on the whole tend to have cards that are only in current standard, because they don't want to confuse people, apparently. But I could see them adding a slot that could randomly be old reprints and such. Like, for example, the Fetchlands. Kind of like expeditions, but they're in the premium foil pack. So they're kind of in that... So they can cordon it off from the rest of Magic in a way. Might be a way for them to circumvent, or at least avoid being accused of like golden ticket stuff that some people found predatory. So I think there might be a good case for them showing up in collector's boosters in a lower than desirable chance or percentage. So again, not dropping the price of them at all. I'm not saying this is a good thing to do, but I can see them doing that. Option 3 would be box toppers. Now this one seems the most likely to me. So, box toppers exist. We've had them for a while. We've just seen them in Double Masters come back in the true, like, randomized versions. For a while, we had set box toppers that you always got the same one, like, you know, Fire Song and Sunspeaker and stuff. And we saw with Ultimate Masters that giving you the potential to open a $3 card or a $200 card drove people wild with excitement. The prize walls at GPs had these things on them, and they would sell out, and people would be cracking them and hollering and shouting and sticking them to their head and going, 21 questions, let's go! And it was exciting and short. But the other thing that box toppers do is they drive whales to buy product. So what I'm thinking is going to happen, here's my guess, is there will be box toppers for Zendikar, and there will be a random card from the set. Anything from whatever the rare land cycle is in the set, in some alternate foil frame thing, right down to some common or uncommon in the set, which will get a rare set symbol just to upset some more people that can't cope with that sort of thing. And in amongst there, they will inject some number of, again, alternate frame stylized Fetchlands. That's my theory. Well, I say that's my theory. I'm laying it out quite a wide net here. Set boosters, maybe. Collector boosters, quite possibly. Or alternatively, box toppers. And this is the one that I think is the most likely. Or, if none of those things come to fruition, because they don't want to put non-standard legal stuff into the Zendikar booster box, which I think has some merit in terms of helping new players not get confused about the cards they're opening. I get that. Then in which case, they're going to be in those slots, set, collector, VIP or whatever, or box topper for whatever comes out later this year. Whether that be Mystery Box 2, or Modern Horizons 2, or Conspiracy 3 or whatever. So yeah, I've got this theory for Zendikar, but if we whiff on Zendikar, not all hope is lost. Well, all hope is lost because it's still going to be not a reprint that brings the price down. So that's my predictions, my educated guesses based upon the way they've talked about this previously, and the fact they haven't shown up in a normal like set now. With them not being in Commander Legends or Zendikar, I'm assuming we're not going to see a normal set printing of these. They're going to be promos in some way. And think of it this way. Keeping their price high, I've said before, encourages people to chase them and make them a desirable thing, but they're not using that desirability. At some point, keeping their price high gives them the option to use them as desirable things to churn out and sell product. What better way to keep that equity and shift product and drive excitement and hype than to keep them being a premium slot, small chance to get. Like I said, whales will buy box after box after box to get box toppers so they can try and open the fetches over, I don't know, the Battle for Zendikar cycle if they come back or whatever. So yeah, this all falls in line with their previous history of trying to keep these things expensive, which then allows them to use them as a tool to shift more product. It kind of sounds nefarious, but I guess it's just business. It just frustrates me that it shits on like Legacy and Modern a little bit. What do you think? Do you think I'm mad? Do you think it's going to be in the Zendikar tertiary extra special slots? Or do you think it's going to be in whatever comes next, Modern Horizons 2 or whatever? Tell me in the comment section below if you think I'm full of shit. Tell me in the comment section below if you've had a dream about where these are going to be. Tell me in the comment section below if you're angry. But try not to push your anger onto the designers of these sets at Wizards, because I don't genuinely believe your average set architect or designer or game designer or card designer or graphic designer or any of those people, those good people that work at this company, I don't think any of them get a say on this. I genuinely think it's the powers that be, it's the management systems, it's the executives who all want to keep these cards expensive so they can use them as carrots on the end of sticks. You don't normally get whales to follow carrots, but the knowledge doesn't hold up when you add whales and carrots to it. Anyway, that's where I think we're at. Be good to one another, and I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.